Okay, back then, like, Joe stated, they was in a very, passionate relationship and they was okay. Well, Darrell, the one that had, I don't know if I could say the word,
Just
the
say
H
the
word.
package. Just say the package. Just say the
Okay, the
package.
package. Okay, great, great.
Just say the package.
So,
The package.
okay. So Darrell, I don't know if he knew, no one ever really knew that personally. And I knew them from a cousin that stays close by. And it's the name of a city. It's kind of a funny pronunciation, but that's the way that I knew pretty much about Joe. Being in the community as LGBT, at that time, Joe was representing that. He did have a certain, stage name. He did have a name, but everybody would either call him Eddie or Joe. He's been that weight size, and I know through the times, we've seen him go up and down through the weight size. So with that being said, Darrell Stevens was like, when they found out what he had and the sickness, Joe really didn't know how to take that, really didn't know how to handle that. And with Joe's family being Christian and his mother being, older, of course, and his aunt, the one he always mentioned about he's going to feed and everything, which is still living. I think her name is Annie Lou. If I'm not mistaken, her name is Annie. But they didn't really know how to take that with Joe's sexuality. And I have pictures with him and his mom that passed away. And no one really could accept him like that, let alone accepting knowing that he had this, package. So they packed up and they moved to Cleveland, Ohio, which you'll see a lot of people, family, some family that's in Cleveland, Ohio, that he can get away because by it being a small town and you having the package, that, yeah, it can ruin your reputation. Joe, Ben, funny guy, been not the video type vixen like he is now, but he has been the type to make a fool of himself because he know that his face was starting to fade away. Now, with him, he stated when he did move to Cleveland, Ohio, before then, he did know Rolandis, okay? Rolandis name, he's named, his brother is Daryl, Deryl. That's Daryl. So that's Rolandis' other brother, the one that you all said that I didn't know Charles had a twin. Well, that's the other brother. He actually stays upstate too.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Well, it's not his twin, but they look so much alike. And if you go through, if you even look at some of the family reunions that we have seen in the past, especially his mother, they really have strong genes. They have the slant eyes, the brown, pretty brown skin. But his mother was not on drugs as bad then. Charles, well, I can't. It's so confusing trying to say Charles when I know him by Rolandis, or know him by
that's
D.
fine because we call them by their original pronouns and their names. So if you want to call them by their real names, ma'am, you can go ahead.
Okay, that's better. Thanks. Okay, thanks. So, it's either D or Rolandis. And I know if, Rolandis hear this, he would probably be thinking, well, part of it is true. But Rolandis, he have been with another man. Curtis and Vince, those were that was Rolandis D. Well, we call him D. My cousin called him D. That is, the first two guys that he have, been with. I don't know, top, bottom, down, side, however they may put it, but that's what Rolandis been before Joe, before all of that. That was him. He had the Lexus Gold car, and he did date women as well. He was in a relationship with a female, and he did think that was his child, not the one that they post, but it's by a light-skinned, high yellow girl. But I never knew her name, and I didn't really know because he was so into, trying to figure out his sexuality. And they have, if you go back and look, they have been calling Rolandis radio for a long time. My cousin can tell you that. She's right here. She can tell you that she's camera shy, she's phone shy. But as much as information she would tell me, and as much as I would know, because I'm 38 years old, so I know what we all. She's 43, I'm 38, so. With what all she have told me and what we all have learned of Joe, working at Wendy's, he'll deny that, but the manager is no problem, with her, Cheryl knowing what actually went wrong and why. Why did Joe and Darrell, the ex, take off and move to Ohio to get better treatment, to get better services? It was a little bit slow to get Social Security, for the sickness that Darrell had, not knowing that as a carrier, the person that you give it to, of course, could, pass away first, or they can get the sickness, the package even worse, or they can go through a lot of more lower immune systems. They can, their immune system would get lower and things of that nature. Yes, that is true about him passing away, right there where Joe was. But all along, if Joe would have did the right thing by leaving Darrell up there in Ohio to keep getting better health, he maybe would have made it, because I got a picture what you all see with them hugged up, and then you have a picture of Darrell when he's much, much smaller and very sickly and barely can walk. So I tried to continue to post, but it wouldn't let me go live. And then I think her name, she told me that it was called shadow ban. So I'm getting familiar with it. All I ever did was post videos, so I never knew about the multiple violations. So I don't know who could have did that in that little bit of time. But like you said, those are trolls. So
I'm gonna tell you right now, it's him.
And he knows me. He knows Eddie Joe knows me. And then they didn't, we say Joe Eddie, or we say Joe or Big Joe, but it back at home it's, hey, Eddie Joe or Joe, and he didn't, with the grammar, with approaching every situation. The reason why he bite back, because Eddie Joe has probably paid off all of Silicaga, just about, the kids and all, which don't get me wrong, Eddie Joe does love kids, but he also groomed kids, because Charles was only 16, turning 17 at the time. But his mother, but yes, but Rolandis,
the real.
And in the apartments that I posted, I mean, you can go see, he got a bunch of alias names he done went through with different Social Security numbers. So when Hillary speaks on this,
Can I ask you a question? Where did he get the name Netta? Where did he get the name Netta from? Like, I don't understand where that name came from.
Okay, Netta, it's like a community, like Eddie Joe said. Oh, I don't have a preference. I don't have a preference. I don't have a, how it's LGBT, you get stud, you get. I don't have a preference either. Me and my partner, me and my wife, we're just just lesbians. That's it. But Eddie Joe got Netta from when they was going through the names in the family, and Eddie Joe was trying to be in a family. So the name, as Eddie Joe would say, would be, well, just call me Joe Netta, which that was actually the name, Joe Netta, because he got tired of Eddie Joe. So like my cousin said, the town not the town, the group of family, the family, and he knows he was in a family. They got the Dior, they got Leonardo, they got what's the other name? The Perus, the Perus. They got different family names, and Eddie Joe was trying to find out what he should be a part of, what him and Daryl should be a part of. And don't get me wrong, they did have a pretty much tight, close relationship, but we understood why after Eddie Joe had then groomed him and got out the marriage. Eddie Joe was married. But when you find out something, us as individuals, as humans, most of us now, not all, I would say 50-50. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't run from, what I just got out of, I think I would face my town and say, hey, this is who I am. But when Eddie Joe did get out the marriage, that baby that's on that picture does belong to Darrell. That is that picture that they took with the red on and Darrell with the lights. That's he was married as well. Now Darrell was married as well.
Okay, so because we got questions. It's because it's everything that you're saying. We kind of knew it already because of other sources.
Right.
But he said that he was never married. He said that they was together for 20 years and, that he really loved him and everything like that. That's true, but he said he was never married to him. He also said that his demise over a heart attack. And then but the grooming part, the G word, I feel like you are confirming everything that everybody has said because we don't believe Joe 47 years old.
Right? No.
I'm sorry. He's not 47 years old. Joe is Charles. Rolandis is my age. I'm 35.
Right. Rolandis is 35.
The math isn't mathing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
With that.
Right. Well, no, I was saying Joe was married. Joe was in a relationship. Joe. If the picture that they posted of the high school and the book and everything, he went ahead and he had been messing with women and he's been messing with men, but he also kept that on the DL. But Eddie Joe was involved deeply with a woman. That woman and him was in a serious relationship before he just flew out like this, that's why he was so undecisive with how he should dress. If you notice now, he's still that way, but he's coming along with more of the woman features, more of the, I'm going to, get my hair done and everything. But that guy, Darrell.
Hillary, don't start, Miss Hillary.
I'm sorry. Miss Safari, I thank you for coming in here. Let me say this. I know I heard you say Hillary, you're gonna say something, but honey, I don't know what this man how he could have been pleasing a woman. I don't know what he was doing. But go ahead.
Right. Well, that's what I was saying with what you're like when I mentioned you, when I was basically stating that, hey, Miss Hillary, she got something going because Joe has a lot of alias names. He have used a lot of different social security numbers. That's why he initially got cut off of his social security. He did not get cut off his social security. SSDI and SSI, SSDI. He went for,
He said we did that. He said we got him cut off. He said that yesterday. He said we got him cut off.
Yep. And that's when I started to say, you know what? Let me start addressing this. That's when I was like, you know what? Let me get down to the bottom of it, because that is not why, just because you started making money, even though that is a source of income for SSDI, and they will count that. And yes, they will stop your income every month if you're making that much money. But Eddie Joe was cut off. If you go and look, and I didn't have to go because I knew he went by Eddie Joe Robertson. Joe Robertson, you'll see Joe Netta Robertson, and you'll see it won't give his social security numbers, but it'll definitely give you all the names of what Eddie Joe has used and what Joe Eddie has used and Joseph Eddie has used over the past 15 years. With that, and when Social Security caught up with him, that's why he's always stating that I'll just call my lawyer. He doesn't have a lawyer. The only lawyer that he got is the one that he's trying to fight against SSDI for all those alias names and changing his name for lights, water, and things of that nature, using false identification to get into those homes in the handicap apartments that he was staying in.
Now, Miss Safari, you are aware I had clocked that T. I knew that this man was doing a bunch of fraud stuff.
Right, right.
And I said that, and all the TikTok was telling me I was lying. When I
No.
told TikTok that Charles got fired for fraudulent purposes,
Right,
and
right.
I told TikTok that he was under an investigation
Yes.
for fraud.
Yes, he is.
That was for the Social Security office.
Yes, yes, he is. Yes, yes.
But people, they call me a liar because that's why they went on an attack against me to discredit what I was saying.
No, that wasn't that they shouldn't have did that, and that's why when I screen recorded just that part, so everyone when I posted it, so everyone could see that. Hey, look, I'm about to come with some receipts because I'm going to post all the names that Joseph, Joe Eddie, Joe Robertson, and Joseph, all those names. Joe Netta was like the second to the last, and all those different names that Joe has used over the past, like I said, 10 to 15 years with using the apartments to get in, the handicap apartments, using to get lights on when the lights would get cut off. And he would change his name, turn around his social security numbers. All those are not allegations. Those are true to get lights on for his family.
Can I ask you a question, Miss Safari?
Uh-huh.
So if Joe is committing this fraud and all of this, why is Charles sticking around for it? Is he a part of it, or he just stuck?
Rolandis is stuck. Rolandis don't want to be a part of it. His mom really wants to speak out, but Joe constantly feeds her money. I'm not judging her, but she is a recovering addict. That's why she just started back working. And, Joe did give Rolandis some money. Maybe Rolandis had his own money. I'm not sure. But I do know she just got the vehicle. So she drinks a lot, and she has came a long way. She wasn't like that in the past. And with his sister that you see on the live, she's getting paid. She's not, you notice that she don't say much. And if she do, she say very little because Netta is paying her. Joe is paying her. Joe is making sure he paid. Joe is going to eventually be broke because when he run out of money from paying everybody, then you're going to say, okay, Safari has came out, not only has exposed them, but now you're going to see a long line of them, of his family, exposing them. If you looked at the show when they went on Auntie's podcast, and when everything broke out, and you remember when Tia said, your family, that's why your family, when she got mad at him and they went back and forth on the live from the TV show. Well, if you could listen to Tia, she said, of course she said the curse words and everything, but she also said that's why your family don't accept you. Only his mom and his sister plays a part. You have never seen, and his baby brother, that he's not too much in the picture, but his other brother, Daryl, don't want no parts of it because Rolandis, you didn't have to do this. You didn't have to go this far as you went for money. So now you're stuck in a situation to where Joe could expose him to what he have, and that would hurt them both. But if it do go that far, yes, Joe is going to expose what's going on in their relationship, about his HIV and about his syphilis. Yes.
Pause. What? Safari. Wait a minute. Press rewind. Charles got the package too?
Charles got syphilis, definitely. Now, has he passed the HIV on? I'm not sure of that. But
wait a minute. Charles has the package?
Yes, Charles has the package, syphilis. Charles had syphilis.
Fix it, Jesus. Take the entire wheel and throw the car away. Wait a minute.
If you notice, when everybody was doing the facial of Joe, some would wear gloves, some didn't. they made sure, well, at the time, the manager made sure of, hey, listen, we have to put this in black and white. No one ever mentioned that we know the marriage was done by the manager and the manager put that out. But as far as anything of Joe ever proving anything, Rolandis would not say with the bumps on his lip. I'm not talking about that. I'm speaking, even though, of course, we know we all heard of herpes simplex 1, 2, and 3, and then syphilis. Well, Rolandis, when he get mad and he get to a certain point, and Joe say he's not going nowhere. He's not going nowhere. I know for a fact he's not going nowhere. I got papers on that. He can talk about the plaque on the wall. He can talk about the marriage certificate. No. Rolandis has syphilis, and his sister with the dreads, she know as well. That's why she didn't come about to now, because she didn't want any parts of it. But like I said, Joe is paying those people, those close people that's in proximity, the immediate family that you all do see of Charles, of Joe, of Rolandis, his mother, his sister, and the kids. That's about all you're going to see of Rolandis' family. You're not going to see.
Safari. Now, Miss Safari, I will tell you, I know for a fact what you just said about him paying his family is true.
Yes, that's true.
And I'm going to tell you why I know for a fact it's true, because I'm going to speak facts. Joe Netta's former manager was on my show, and I interviewed him, and he told me that Joe Netta pays his family. Them people you just mentioned.
Yes.
Carlos confirmed that he was paying him. So you are telling the absolute truth when it comes to that.
Yes.
Now, what has knocked my wig off my head is this about this disease Charles has. Were they trying to hide this?
Well, Miss Hillary, if it comes out, then, of course, Netta is crazy about numbers, views, about, oh, my number's dropping, my number's this. But she's not one to leak that out. And by me leaking this out, of course, she might throw a cease and desist. She might, try all type of things to get my page took down. But if it's okay, I don't live for TikTok. I just tried to get on there because Eddie Joe with all the alias names, and of course Rolandis, I'm telling you this, we're not the first one to say radio, which, I don't like talking about anyone, but, we're not the first people that just discovered radio. They've been calling, Rolandis radio since he went to Job Corps. He went to Job Corps and got his trade in welding, right? And you know how everybody was like, well, Charles got a good job. Charles got a good job. And with that being said, he went to Job Corps. He went to go study to get his welding. Whenever that is another thing. Whenever he got ready to graduate, he received his certificate. Okay. When you go into a job, you take a physical, of course, for welding to make sure you can see, make sure your knees are good. They draw some blood. And sometimes you may find out then, well, not only, like I said, not only has Eddie Joe Netta, whatever, been grooming him since he was 16, 17. But the reason why Rolandis went to Job Corps is because he was ashamed.
I can't get over the 16, 17. I just can't, because there's also somebody on YouTube that says he's doing the same thing to his nephew.
Yes, and his dad his dad, like when Netta was saying that I was taking care of Charles, I was taking care of Charles' dad. Look, his dad got a Facebook page, and basically Joe has paid Rolandis' dad, Senior, Daryl Alexander Senior, off to say, look, don't say nothing about this. Yes, he was coming over, cleaning up, but it was for the uncle as well. It was for the uncle as well. You know, Joe didn't have a preference. It wasn't just with 16 and 17. You know, Joe been basically hitting on that's what happened at the jobs. You know, flirting with the children, with the teenagers. I won't say children, with the teenagers at the job. You know, the manager can speak for that if she would speak up. But I know Netta, Joe, whatever, then paid, of course, then paid her too. That's where the money is going. That's why he has so many people watching his numbers that comes over, or Alexander that comes over. Alexander not coming over just to say, hey, I'm coming to visit. Alexander is coming to pick up the money. It's coming to pick up the pay. You got to pay attention to whenever TikTok pays off, those people are there. The lady that was in the background that knows Joe very well, they all stay. It's called Truett Lane right there. And it's I want to say it's Truett Road, Truett Lane, and they all stay in the back there, and it's like trailers and everything. And of course, Rolandis, he be out there, he mows everybody's yard, he washes everybody's car, and he talks to him. And they do talk to him. You know, Joe family does talk to Rolandis about his situation of, you know, why you tolerate this and everything. They do. We have heard, not rumors, but out of his family's mouth, out of Joe's family's mouth, of why you take this abuse. You know, Joe keeps stating that I'm 47. Joe, you're 51. You know, if you come out, you're 51. You know, I hated to say this, but Joe is 51. He have changed his birthday over umpteen times. He have changed his social security number. So the more that he lies, the more that people go and dig up, because for one, you keep saying that, hey, I'm 47 when you know that you're 51. You're just trying to get close. You're just trying to get as close back to Charles' age so you won't feel like you actually groomed him, but you did groom him. Then you took him around. You took him to the grocery store because he was a daddy's boy and a mama's boy.
Miss Safari, hold on a second, sweetie. I gotta back up a second because you just, girl, let me ask you this. So this would explain how Joe Netta came on TikTok admitting to paying for fake doctor's notes and having them submitted to Charles's job. So he used to creating all this fake stuff.
Yes. The manager didn't create that. He can say that, yeah, I just, you know, I got it and faxed it to him, because Joe is not that, you know, how I can say, not that smart. He's smart enough to scam and smart enough to commit fraud, but if he barely can type a full sentence. So, you know, maybe the manager faxed it for him, emailed it to him, like he said, but Joe came up with the plan.
So Joe admitted it, and you're telling the truth, because he said it out of his own mouth. He said, we were paying for doctor's notes, and before the manager was even involved. This is what Joe said.
Exactly.
Joe, this is in 2024. You got this grown ass man committing fraud in 2024.
Right.
Okay, Safari.
Mm-hmm.
I am literally, I am sitting here like my mouth is open.